Hello Zyron Development, and we are finally back with another episode for our rce.js series. And in this episode I want to be covering a couple of things. Number one, just a little issue from last episode. Just need to make a quick change to the database if that's applicable to you. This episode is going to require you to have all the previous episodes completed, so it will be applicable to you. Next thing is there's been a major update to rce.js, so we do slightly have to change how we add servers, which I'll go through that with you. Before we get into the tutorial, I just want to show you what we'll have by the end of this episode. So today we're going to be making a kill feed with KD involved. So for testing purposes, I'm just going to kill an AI. So I'm going to kill this scientist here, and you'll see in the chat when I kill him. There you go. Binzy in red because I'm a player. Killed scientist, which is in green because it's an AI. And I'll kill another scientist to show KD works. Kill this guy. There we go. I have a 2.0 KD now, and we'll just kill one more just to make a point, and then we'll get in the tutorial. 2.50 on the KD there, and yes, I have been killed a few times during testing. Let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so first of all, let's fix the database issue. So for those of you who watched the last video, you will notice you have a Prisma folder. You can go within that Prisma folder, and we're going to change the provider and add -js to the end. And then we can remove this whole output area. We do not need that. And in your src folder you can delete the generated folder if you have one. And then we can make a new model for this episode, which we're going to call it kills, because we're going to save each kill to the database. Let me disable Copilot because we don't want to rely on AI. Alright, I've disabled Copilot now. Yeah, we don't want any other code getting in the way. So we want a kill ID, which is going to be our unique number. So it's going to be the primary key in the database, and it's going to default to an auto increment number. So it will go 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. We want the killer ID, which is going to be the name of the person who done the kill, and the victim ID, which is the name of the person who was killed, or the entity, or whatever it is. And then we just want a boolean on whether the victim, whether the killer was AI, and the same with the victim, just in case later on we want to filter between AI kills and actual kills. You guys have flexibility over that. And then the created app will default to the current timestamp. So once that's done, we will go ahead and run npx prisma format. That will format this file like so. And then npx prisma db push will push our latest changes. It might be prompting you to update Prisma. You can if you want. I probably will at some point. But speak of updating, there is one more thing we need to do now. So we need to update rce.js. So do that by adding @latest at the end. So that's downloaded that update. So if we look now, we're on version 4.6.1, which is currently the latest as of today. And there's a slight change in service.json, so we'll remove the server info fetching part. That is no longer needed. And what we will do is go into client.ts right here, and where we're adding the server here, we are going to keep the data from the servers.json, but we also want to add something else. We want to add intents. So let's import the enum rce intent from rc.js, And what we're doing with this is just instructing rce.js what additional data we want. So we're not always spamming our gportal or Nitrado consoles. So in this case, for now, I just want server info to be fetched periodically, like every 1 minute, and a player list. That's all I want for now. But as you can see from IntelliSense, you got custom zones, frequencies, gibs, kits, role information, teams. Teams is quite a useful one. But for now, we'll just have this enabled for the tutorial purposes. Okay, so now we've done all the updating, we will get on with the actual kill feed. So we're going to make a new file, or a new folder under listeners, and this one's going to be called rcejs. So we keep it separate from our Discord.js listeners. And then we'll just name this file playerkill.ts. We can import listener from Sphere Framework as before, and container this time. And then our apply options, like we did before. And then from rc.js we want to import the type iPlayerKill event payload. We want the enum player kill type, and we want the enum rce event. So now we can do apply options for our listener options, and the event is going to be rc.event.playerkill, and the emitter is going to be container.rce. Then, as usual, you want to export your class playerkill listener, which extends listener. We want public async run payload, which is going to be the type iPlayerKill event payload. Now, as you can see, as I start typing payload and then a period, we have some options here. So we got like payload.killer. We got some more options. So that's what's really nice about TypeScript and IntelliSense. So you got all this available to us. So we're going to add a couple lines of code. If payload.killer.type is not equal to playerKillType.player, return. And if payload.victim.type is not equal to playerKillType.player, well, return. And what this would do is ignore any kills to do with AI. So like scientists and such will not show in the kill feed. But for testing purposes, I'm going to comment this out because I don't have another player to test with. So we'll be testing with AI. Once we pass that stage, we can add a kill to the database. So to do that, we'll do await this container .prisma .kills .create. Then we want data. So the killer ID is going to be payload.killer.name. The victim ID is going to be payload.victim.name. Whether the killer is AI is payload.killer.type is not equal to playerKillType.player, and the same with the victim being AI. Payload.victim.type is not equal to playerKillType.player, and that adds the kill to the database. And we're saving it to a database so we can later calculate a KD ratio. So we'll make a function for that now. So just under our public async run function, we're going to do private async fetch KD ratio, and we're just going to ask for a player name, which is a string, and this is going to return a KD as a string. So first of all, we want to find out how many kills they have. So we'll do await this.container.prisma.kills.count, where killer ID is equal to player name, and then we want their deaths. So prisma kills.count, where the victim ID is player name. And then we can calculate our ratio. So if the deaths is equal to 0, then it's just going to be kills. Otherwise, it will be kills divided by deaths. Right now, that's returning a number. As you can see when we hover over that, we want it to return a string. So we're going to return ratio. We're going to make sure it adds the 0.00 or the 0.50, whatever it wants to add, and then convert it to a string. And that's our fetch KD ratio function. So now we can fetch those in the run function. So we'll make a new variable, killer KD ratio, await this.fetch KD ratio, payload.killer.name, and then the victim KD ratio. So we want the payload victim name. And then we want to send a message to the server. So this is just a bare minimum tutorial. I know that you can only send the say command every so often. We'll, in a future video, probably make a way to handle that. But for now, I'm not too concerned about it. I just want you guys to understand how to set up event listeners and all the basics of rce.js. So for now, we will just log the kill, even if it can't send it. So we do this.container rce.send command, and we're sending the command to the payload server identifier. So back to the server. And then the command is going to be say, and we're going to do color equals. If the killer is AI, I want it to be green, otherwise red if it's a player. Mind the ring doorbell. And then we want the payload.killer.name. And then we'll close the color there. Then after that we want to display their KD. So we'll do mark killer KD ratio and close the mark within the square brackets. And then we'll say that they killed. And then again, color equals, this time we're checking if the victim is AI. If the victim's AI, we display their name in green, otherwise in red. And we close that. Sorry, I'm getting a bit confused there. Don't know why. Payload.victim.name. And then close off the color. And then again, mark victim KD ratio and close the mark. And remember, if you want to ignore any kills to do with AI, just uncomment this, but for testing purposes I'm gonna disable that check. So now we can go ahead and run TSC and start the bot. No errors, server successfully added. Let's test it. Alright, looks like we have a nice sunset coming along on oil rig. Right, this time we're on a fresh database, so the KD should be fresh. Yup, Binzy 1.0 killed a scientist. We'll just do another test. There you go. The KD is 2.0. So that's it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in future tutorials.